All right, all right. Dream Team 718, welcome, welcome. This is our last video for the year. How you guys feeling?
Feeling good.
Feeling good, man.
2020 over yet?
You know what? We're gonna take it one day at a time. One day at a time. It'll be over soon. But now that we brought that up, this week's video, I wanted us to do just a quick reflection on what our experiences for 2020, what we've learned and what we're taking with us into 2021. For each of us, I'm sure there might be some crossover, but at least I think each experience, somewhat teach us a little bit, or will affect us a little differently, so it might impact our outlook on 2021, but I'm sure it's not going to change what we thought of 2020. So I'll start. For me, 2020 was sometimes trying, at least mentally. On an emotional level, it was a bit of a hurdle sometimes. Battling it in a way. It was isolation, right? We isolated ourselves for quite some time, and even when the economy opened back up, like, I was not in a rush to go back out there, and there was a bit of fear, and of course there was a lot of ignorance when it came to what COVID-19 was, and the effects and how it affected us and whatnot. And because of that, I was very apprehensive with going back out. So I found myself missing family. I realized, I didn't see my brother, I didn't see my mom, my dad. I'm so used to us randomly just, hey, we're gonna meet up on Friday. Let's go here, and we just meet up. I found myself looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to it. But in the back of my mind, I know this is not going to happen anytime soon, and that started to take a toll on me. And I realized that I really needed to take better care of my mental health as far as what we do here. Whereas we started to meet online and just have conversations, and that alone helped, right? It's not the same as meeting in person, but at least there was somewhat of an outlet for me, and that helped me, and it helped to ground me. And I realized that my apprehensions just they faded. I was still responsible when I went out. I had my face mask. For a while, I was out there with face masks and gloves. Um, and I realized, what 20, a few things that 2020 taught me was one of it's self-care, not just physical, as far as grooming, but mental health. And talking about grooming, it's so funny, man. The first time I went back to the barber, that was one of the most cathartic experiences I've had all year. you know, being in that environment and having the conversations that it was so awesome, man. And I realized that I've learned to value my experiences a lot more, value my friends and family so much more. And I've learned to value myself, you know, not to take me for granted, to learn to take time for me. So for me, 2020 is going to be a lot of self care and and that also it means that I'm going to be doing a lot of check-ins, just even if it's just a phone call, check-ins. Hey, how you doing? You guys need anything? Like, just to keep that communication going, because it meant so much to me when I was able to do it. So yeah, 2020 is it's going to be a different outlook for me. I'm going to appreciate the little things a whole lot more. And that's it for me, man. I'm looking forward to 2020. I think it has endless possibilities, so it's whether I'm ready. Like they said that, success is when preparation meets opportunity, right? So I don't want to miss my opportunities. I want to be prepared for them, so when they come my way, I can take off full speed. So that's my goal, to make sure that I'm mentally and physically ready to handle whatever comes my way.
That's dope. That's dope, man.
So what
Oh
about you,
man,
Gary?
2020. I share a lot of what you said about 2020. There's a few things that come to mind for me in 2020. I feel like 2020 was the shortest, longest year ever. Like we're about to say Happy New Year, but at the same time, it felt like so much happened in 2020. Like I don't know if I can remember a year in my life that has so much going on at the same time, right? So at maximum, it felt like everything was at maximum effort, like maximum level, right? It was, from January on, like from Kobe passing, and that was like, wow, that was a moment, right? Whether you're a Kobe fan or not, it was just like a moment in time that I think you all. And then shortly thereafter, we went into the pandemic, right? And right after that, it was like, this year is crazy, and it just felt like things, so much happened, and social injustice and social just upheaval in a way that we haven't seen in a really long time. Like it was so many pressing things happening concurrently,
Yeah.
like at the same time. Like you would normally get one thing, but multiple things running at the same time, that I found myself from a mental health standpoint, like, all right, they came to a point where I had to really minimize my intake, right? Because there was so much going on that it really has an influence on you, and it had a really influence on me, because like every time you turn on the television, you're going from
It was
George Floyd.
overload, man.
It was overload, right? So I have to truly say that after the election, it was like, all right, and that was November, but so much happened to me after the election. I literally found myself not turning on CNN, and I'm like, yeah, I want to know what's going on with the vaccine and politics and things like that. But you also realize in 2020 that even if you don't watch it as much, like it'll be okay, and the world is still turning. And I think for me, one of the best things that happened for me this year is when we were consistent and once we started doing these check-ins and started spending this time together, it really held me accountable to some goals that I set. Like I don't know if I would have done my personal training test and certification and was stuck to it if it wasn't for like our groups in a way, because I didn't want to show up on Sunday like saying I ain't read nothing, right? So like like for real, like I didn't want to come in here and, like I said last week, I was gonna read something, I didn't read nothing. Like I would find myself even like before I called, like if I didn't read nothing, I was like, I'm gonna read something because I don't want to report out. Like I read, even if I read 10 pages, I didn't want to report out and say I didn't read nothing, right?
It's one of those. It's like I don't want to be the only one that didn't do something this week.
I didn't do nothing, but it was really like that's a testament to community and accountability. And even when we fell short, it wasn't like, yo, man, you messing up, wrong, you messing up. It was like, hey, man, like, is there something we could do differently? And but knowing that we had that group to keep us accountable, like, and towards the end of the year, man, I was able to successfully pass. So that's like, I think.
Yeah, congrats, man. That was a big step.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Man.
So
that's a big deal, man.
Bro. I appreciate that, man. I really do, man, because it was a journey, and I appreciate you guys once again holding me accountable, checking it. Is there anything we could do? How's it going? Like all those things. and that back of my head, I don't want to show up and not done nothing. You know, so that really helped, right? And that happened because of our community in 2020. So for me, I would say 2020, as much as I was mentally challenged with everything that was happening externally,
Mm-hmm.
I also found that it was an opportunity. It was an opportunity for me to do some things. Like I've read more in 2020, right? Because it forced me. I'm not traveling 4 hours a day anymore. So like, if used correctly, this was a great year to redeem your time and do something productive with your time. If you took the opportunity to do it. So I think that's what I got from 2020. Like as much as we heard about so much of the bad that was happening, and there was a lot of bad happening. Like we not discounting the fact that a lot of people lost their lives, and
Yeah.
I struggled just like you, man, with the anxiety, and the paranoia, and like even still now, like I'm still not back to that place and space where you feel totally comfortable and free. And I miss those moments to be able to go outside and like, oh, I forgot my mask. Let me go back in the house.
Dude,
Like,
that happened to
like,
me. Believe it or not, that happened to me this week. I
Mm-hmm.
went to the house. I was like, wait a minute, I don't have my mask on. And I just turned right back. it's,
yeah,
it's
like
so
so.
weird.
I still, but I will say the silver lining in this year that if you had your health and if you had your health, this is 2020 is an opportunity year to prepare for 2021. And as much as I want 2020 to end, um, a part of me is like, don't. As much as 2020 sucked, we don't know what 2021 is.
Yeah.
So like, let's not rush it. Because a lot of people's like, yo, I can't wait to 2020 and 2019, and 2020 turned
Right.
out to be like epically horrible, right?
Their
So
pastors told them that was their year. No.
Yeah. 2020 was like, you're not gonna forget about me.
right,
You'll remember me.
yeah, man. So yeah, that's my thing, man. How about you guys, man?
Nah, I mean, that was good. For me, um, I think the thing I learned the most 2020 is that God is gracious. I think that's the thing I learned the most, man. Like I am a stickler for beating myself up, and I'm not even realizing it. Walked into this year with condemnation, just a gloomy cloud just hanging over me. And I realized that, you know, like you can't walk around beating yourself up all the time and expecting to succeed. You just can't. Like things don't work that way. You're already setting yourself up for failure.
Not just
So
that. Not just that. You're doing everybody else's job for them.
because yeah, right. Nobody else has to tell me I'm doing wrong. If I already think I'm wrong or out of it, nobody has to tell me that because I already know it, right?
Yeah.
It's just like I had to realize that, and I'm still at a place where I'm growing out of it. And like even like when I speak like affirmations over myself, or like not speak affirmations, I'm like thinking about myself. Like I speak the positive first, and if there's something like negative to be said or that I feel like has to be, we go through things. I will address that, but I won't preface a positive statement now with "but this happened." This happened, but this. I don't do that anymore. I'm working to get out of that, and it's helping me as I think about myself. My hope is that it will affect my outlook on other people and just the world at large. In 2020, I think the hardest part for me, like I enjoy going out, right, and engaging, and I'm that kind of person. Like I like being around other people. Sometimes I enjoy being in a crowded restaurant and just like hearing the noise. Like I enjoy that. And 2020 kind of ripped that from you. But at the same time, in taking it, it's kind of like distance makes the heart grow fonder. Like it's like, dad, I really want that back. Like I really want to be in that space again. And even like semi being there when it was like 25% capacity, like it's crazy how that was a blessing to be in that space, because prior to that 25% capacity, you had, these mom and pop restaurants closing down, or just like one of my favorite spots. I don't know about the Zion's or Zwan's Famous Foods. They was like, we're closed for the foreseeable future. And they have multiple locations all throughout the city. And it just sucked to see that, something I had really enjoyed with friends, like I mean, we went out to the spot that Benjamin had recommended some time ago, and I think that was the last time we had went out. And it's just like, wow, like that was so long ago, but it has to be that way because of the year. So that's been the hardest part for me. So this has definitely been like, um, I know that Ron used the word cathartic earlier. Like this has definitely been that. Like, I remember like wolfing it out in the beginning when the barbershops was closed. Like this year was just different. You know, it like it's crazy how with each like phase we went through those phases as people. Like the phases literally that we went to New York literally dictated our phase. Like how can I put it? Like us personally, like, oh, this is open. Now I can return to this. This is open. Now I can return to this. This and it was like it helped. You know, I think it definitely helped. You know, and just I had to learn personally that you know, you can definitely get like, you know, I like me, I can get distracted easily and not be as active as I need to be. So like what Gary was saying earlier about I ain't trying to be up there, you know, and even if I gotta read 10 pages, it's funny, I was typing but before we got on the Zoom and even earlier I was on the train typing away, working on my script. So just, you know, trying to gain that consistency, gaining that steam, and you know, just drawing closer to it. That's really what it is. Like, you know, self-discipline is just that. Like, you have to be disciplined. And that's something I'm learning, like, to work on that as well. So 2020 has had its ups and downs for me. You know, heartbreaks, you know, relationships, you know, I'll go into that maybe another time, but it's ups and downs, but I learned from every bit of it. I learned from every bit of it, and I'm still here. And I plan to be a better man as I move forward to 2021, 22. Like, bring it on. I'm here. And I just hope I get better with time. You know, so.
You know, real quick, you know, the thing is, one thing I know, affirmations work.
Mm.
You know, it's you're training your mind. Is you know, you're literally training your mind to basically. It's not so much just not, oh, I'm just gonna focus on the positive, but it's to actually see yourself in a positive light. Because and with affirmations, you learn to forgive yourself sometimes. You know, you learn to challenge yourself. You know, and those things make you better, right? And I just wanted to remind you, just continue to do that. You know, like trust me, man. It's you know, we're constantly evolving. That's just what it is.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, so I just wanted to put that out there.
Appreciate you, man.
Ben was good, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, you guys pretty much covered everything I was gonna say. I think first of all, Gary, the longest and shortest year, that's definitely true. I've been saying that since like March.
Oh yeah, that's what it all
You
kicked
know,
off.
I mean, it was definitely challenging, but a few things, you know, I think that I got out of it was number one, you just more appreciative for everything, just because certain things you didn't think you were gonna miss,
Yes.
like, you know, like the subway or your commute sometimes. You know, like just being out and about, like Mike said, just sometimes I hate going to like restaurants that's it's so crowded. But now I'm like, yo, that's actually not bad. I want it, I want that energy, I want that vibe, you know. So definitely you appreciate things a lot more now that you kind of had from March to now pretty much everything more limited. So I think you naturally you develop an appreciation for everything. The second thing is just present in everything. I think the last time we all met like physically was the Korean barbecue spot, the Korean wing
Yeah.
spot.
In the city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that night was amazing because you know we chopped it up, had a great conversation, and it just being present at that moment, it resonated with me, and that stayed with me the whole this whole time.
Nothing.
that was that one thing. I was like, I can't wait to go back to that.
No, don't forget our highlight was playing pool and seeing Barra Morto. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Forgot about
Right.
that. I bumped into him by accident. Remember?
That was funny.
Yo, that was
That
amazing.
night, that was like the longest night we've had. We ate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
We went
yeah.
pool. Was that the same night we went to the arcade?
Yeah.
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 After
Oh,
we
yeah,
went to the
yeah, yeah.
arcade.
Like we
Yeah,
got it
And,
all. And
and Gary
as if
was
we knew
killing
that it was
on
gonna be a
Street Fighter,
quarantine.
bro. Gary was killing everybody on Street
Oh
Fighter.
my gosh,
Yeah,
he's watching us.
Gary washed me on Street Fighter, man.
Yo, I had my like one move, like the Hadouken to the uppercut. That was it. That was it. If you start that combo, I'm losing.
Yo. And
But-
we had no idea that what was to come. We was just
Right.
like, we
That's
had
what
no
I'm saying.
idea.
That's what I'm saying. Being present, I'm so glad that night I wasn't like, oh man, you know, it's great seeing these guys, but I want to get home. I want to do like I was just
Yeah.
there enjoying the moment. And now you're kind of going back to 2021. I'm taking that with me, just appreciation for everything,
Mm.
and just being present in everything you do, man. Just being 100% there. I know it's easy to say, but it's kind of tough to do.
It is.
Because
It is.
I think as a human being, you're always anticipating what's going to happen next instead of just being there. You know what I'm saying? So
Benjamin, it's interesting that you brought up that night, because a lot of like quite often I found myself reflecting back on that night and thinking, like, you know, I remember it being like 11 o'clock at night, and I'm like, I'm not in a rush to go home. You know, we just out here, we're just hanging out.
yeah, man.
You know, and we're, like you said, we're being present at that time. We're just being present in the moment, right? And it's not that nothing else matters. You know, we're just being present. And I remember I was saying to myself, very shortly after that, everything just went topsy-turvy, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Quickly, like in
Yeah.
a matter of like 2 days or something, or 3 days.
Dang.
Yeah.
What month did we go? When was that?
I think we went sometime in maybe February.
Yeah, like the end of February.
Oh, wow.
And then
Like
I remember,
February into March.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then
into
I
March,
remember
yeah.
March, I think March 8th or something, like early March is when that the guy caught it in Midtown and infected like 50 people. And then a week later, the whole city shut down.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, like
Definitely
March
weird.
14th, the whole city just shut
Yeah,
down.
and I think literally like 2 or 3 weeks after we met, everything was shut down.
Yeah. So
I'm glad we
I'm
made it that
happy
day.
we at least got to experience that before everything else, because now
Yeah.
I have some that, like, you know, I can't wait to have that energy again. And then the last thing I wanted to say was just you guys mentioned it already. It's taking care of your mental. You know, that's pretty much your mind, bro.
Yeah.
And I think our group, the Dream Team group, definitely helped me with that, because, like, dude, this isolation from most people and just the pandemic, and, you know, like knowing people close to you who passed away or who got affected by it in a profound way. If you don't have your mental straight, that could drive you crazy.
Yeah.
You know, so like just having like the check-in, even if it's like a 5-10 minute check-in that we were doing initially, that helped a lot, because at least you get to vent, at least you get to
You have that cathartic relief.
not even just figure it out, but just knowing somebody's there to listen, you know.
Yeah.
So that was big for me. So I think for 2021, focusing definitely on those things. Number one, just taking care of your health. You know, health is wealth. So like your mental, your physical health, everything. Number two, just being appreciative for everything. Just being thankful. I mean, I start every day with a prayer. You know, I first thing I say is, you know, thank you for another day, another opportunity, right, to become a better person. But that means so much more now after going through the year that we went, you know.
Yeah, man.
And the last thing is just being present in everything you do, no matter what it is, work, hanging out, you know, anything, just being 100% there.
You know, those are very impactful words, man, because it's something that we need to be cognizant of throughout our daily, you know, coming and goings. It's like, you know, once you start to realize that something is off, you know, we need to try to address it, because you don't want a molehill to turn into a mountain, right? So you want to address it at the time when it's a molehill, so you can just take care of it and move on, right? And you know, it's interesting that you said mental health is wealth, because that's my new slogan. You know, shameless plug. My new slogan is, you know, your mental health is your greatest wealth. I'm just putting it out there. You know, that's going to be your 2021 slogan. All right.
I like it.
That's what we're going with. But it's very important, you know, that we take care of all of these things, because they all play a part in what drives us and what keeps us going, and what, sometimes, you know, not every day I feel like just jumping out of bed, right? Some days I got to drag myself out of bed, because I know that I have a family that relies on me and things need to get done. Right. So I get up and I start to attack my day, because it has to get done. And if I'm not taking care of my mental health, I'm not going to be able to do that. You know, I after a while, it's going to take a toll on me, and I'm going to start to fall apart, and I don't want that. And that's just speaking for myself, you know, and I know I've seen it. I've seen how mental health impacts so many people in their lives. So it's just like, I'm a big, big, big time supporter of seeking help when it comes to your mental health. You know, I'm very, you know, and the thing is, within our community, it's such a taboo subject sometimes that we don't seek the help. And that's not what we want. You know, we want to be our best selves. And to be our best selves, we need to seek help when we need it.
That's what needs to be normalized.
Yeah.
It's okay to be like, listen, man, I need help, or it's so hard for a lot of people to say I need help.
Yeah. And the thing, it's three simple words, right? Three simple words, but it's so difficult to say. Like Benjamin is it's something like, even for me, like at times it has been very difficult for me to be like, you know what? I need help. You know, I can't do this alone.
For most of us, and personally, you know, everything you guys said, I need help is, even though it's a 3-word request, it requires you to be vulnerable and put your pride to a side.
That's the thing. The pride that you meant. That's perfect that you mentioned that. The pride gets in the way of a lot of things, bro.
That's the killer.
Yeah,
Pride
being, you know, putting pride to a side and being vulnerable, and many of us have been hurt, and many of us like don't know how other humans are gonna handle our hearts. So we're like, man, like I'll just figure it out. Meanwhile, there's some real people out there that wanna listen and care, you know.
So that's going to 2021, man. 2021. Our mental health is our greatest wealth. Let's go. Let's own that.
Yeah.
All right.
Going for it, bro.
All right, fellas. You know what, man? This has been I think this is a good way to close out 2020, man. You know, it's a nice reflection, you know, and it's a great outlook into 2021. So I appreciate you guys coming on here and doing this with me, man. It's been a great
No doubt.
All right.
No doubt.
Better things to come.